That's not what I wanted. Okay. Welcome back to Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Where last we left off, I believe we finished up investigation in episode 3. And with this one, we shall be starting the trial. Oh no, I don't need that. This one. Let's get the game open and get into it. Okay. Audio seems good. Cool. So I'll be getting into the trial, and then turn that down a bit on my end. We'll see how it goes. One thing I need to do is I need to work on commentary. I talk about things I did. I made cookies yesterday. Peanut butter cookies. They were, a good chunk of them were in this little mini muffin pan we had, where I also put like a peanut butter cup in them to cook, like those peanut butter blossoms, but with a peanut butter cup instead. Those are good. They turned out well. And because peanut butter cookies are so very greasy, a lot of the time they didn't even stick. Which is definitely useful, because washing that pan is sort of a nightmare with all of its little things, and it doesn't fit in the sink properly. Ugh. Oh well. May 11th, 9:40 a.m., High Court of Kadain, accused lobby. I wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday. But if I can figure out Lady Keida's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe... Nick, today well... Don't look so down, Maya. I'm going to defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can. Who is this? Oh, you. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can. As I said yesterday, I'm going to defend my client in court. Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she's found guilty, you, too, will be found guilty of abetting the accused. I never claimed to be a miracle maker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found. The truth, you say? And it seems you have chosen your fate. This shall be your very last trial. What's that noise? Nick. I'm going to prove you innocent, Maya. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the plumed Punisher, warrior of Neo Twilight Realm, to the folks back home, right? Right! I may be a defendant this time. But I'll be by your side, like always, Nick. Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. May 11th, High Court of Kadain. now in session. All rise. Let the trial of Maya Fey begin. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh? Right. Can't you see? Prosecutor said Mahi is absorbed in silent prayer. Right. Trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor. Why is the accused standing over there? Oh, well. Your Majesty, in addition to being the accused, she is also my assistant. The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with a defiled soul. That wasn't very nice. Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyer seems to be a custom of sorts here in Kadain. I must say, I'm surprised to see you still here in Kadain, Mr. Wright. Even more so to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial. The answer is simple, Your Majesty. I am a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Such foolishness. Prosecutor said Mahi. Are you ready to begin now? Yes, Your Majesty. Prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim obtain salvation. Splendid. I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Samahi. Please, save the victim's soul, Prosecutor Samahi. Punish the wicked lawyer who dares to stop these last rites. I think I'll pass on that whole fire and brimstone deal. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance, considering what Apollo's told me about you. So, it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guile within him. Putrid what? He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. What is in my throat? Maybe I need to do like local warm-ups or something. I think that's a thing people do. I don't know what the details are and how they work though. I have to look into it. Nervous, Maya? A little. Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this in court. Too bad I'm the defendant, so... Don't worry. We haven't lost a case together yet. You're right. Let's give this everything we've got, Nick. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmahi, would you please explain the case at hand? Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest Tadost Inme. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain. And the cause of death. Let us review the victim's autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the Warbad dagger, which was used in the rite. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched. It wouldn't be too hard to just launch it right over the edge of the mountain. I don't know what's down there, but probably enough that it'd be difficult to locate. A sacred relic used as a tool of murder. The Holy Mother's wrath shall be most severe. The murder itself took place at the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Keda's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as a high priest of Kodaianism. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey. Must say, that does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused. Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case. Cool. The diagram of the scene of the High Priest's murder shows where the lanterns and the Warbad statue are. In Kodaianism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling. There she shall be tickled without end for 500 million years. Okay. That is a terrible fate indeed. The defense cared to respond. And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of back pain. I don't remember killing anyone. I don't have that dagger or anything like it. As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But, more importantly, she had no motive to kill the High Priest in the first place.
Objection!
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Refa Padma Kodai's insights. So it is, and so shall it be. The divination seance reveals the truth for all to see. Here we go again. Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess. It's Princess Refa. Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day. As popular as ever, I see. Rest assured, good people of Kodaian, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their freedom expressed today. What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor. Urihara Kodaiin. see she looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, barbed head? No, nothing, your benevolence. Well then, your benevolence. Divination seance, if you please. Very well. Nana, my robe. Am I gonna dance around?
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Right. Gonna dance around some more. This appears to be the same animation as last time, which makes sense. There are some angles where her nose looks very odd. I think it's mostly because of the shader that got going on, making the outline just make it stand out more than it really needs to. What have we got? Well, here's Maya. They're doing their things. Checking over some sort of scroll. Wind. Footsteps, incense. Pain. The victim's Mitama has spoken. The divination seance is complete. Great, another clearly incriminating seance vision. It could not be any clearer of foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Keira and then attacked the victim. Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Keira lit against the dim lantern light, the scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One could almost sense the horror Abbot Inmei must have felt. The facts, as presented by her benevolence, are indisputable. But that wasn't me! Do something, Nick! I'm working on it. It couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle. this vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite. Come to think of it, the Wright's Guide explains the multi-part purification ritual in detail. The transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Keita. The rite of water. Lady Keita enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with the dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Barbed Head, would you care to object? Of course, because I know my client is innocent. So you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you? I managed to pull it off last time with Albie. I'll just have to do it again. You intend to find fault with her benevolence's insights yet again. It seems lawyers are Pulkukan creatures indeed. Pulkunan. Look at her. Look at that Pulkunan. Pulkunan. Well, what exactly is a Pulkunan? Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak. They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth. So, Barbed Head, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave. Worked last time. Seemed fine. Insight. Rifa's insight. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused's approaching footsteps, and he smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed. Finally, he passed on from our world. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments. Inner sanctum diagram updated in the court record. Okay. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Keita, the accused rushed to the victim. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Keita, the accused rushed the victim head on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. The trouble is, there's not really proof that's, just someone in robes. No, it wasn't me. A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Keita's robes. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You could not explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess's divine insight. Ugh. How did you end up finding contradictions last time? The deceased's final memories include all 5 senses. Oh what do you mean those words that appeared in the pool of souls? It looked to me like the bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me, too. The sensations themselves are never wrong, only their interpretations. That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Raifa's insights the last time.
So there could be contradictions between what Abbot Inne felt and her insights, huh?
You got it. And I'm going to find them this time, too. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Raifa's insights?
It's fine. Got it.
I remember how it works. Still, the sensations this time seem to fluctuate more than the ones from Alby's trial. In which case, I'd better keep an eye on changes in their intensity, too. Okay, time to point out the sensations that contradicts the insights.
Did the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra? Right, that seems about right. Oops, no, X is rewind. I should check the lantern. Looks like it might be broken at that point. I don't know. Small ropes. Accused approaching footsteps. There's footsteps before they start moving. Maybe not. Maybe a different thing. Intense pain. That was when he was stabbed. Right. That checks out. Pay attention to the changes in sensations. Let's see. Looks like that was already broken.
That's when he stabbed. Am I missing? Maybe the wind, because it wouldn't be blowing the scent in that direction. Let's just do something. You're all the way over there in the wind, maybe? You haven't started moving yet, and the footsteps. A little contradictory sensation. Etc. That's the only thing that can really be argued with in any capacity. Those aren't really. I don't. Maybe if I point out the wind? That the wind was happening and thus it would be blowing any sense away?
Objection!
That doesn't seem to be it. Your benevolence, isn't this statement inconsistent with the vision?
Inconsistent? I think not.
Exactly. That's where the inconsistency lies. No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies. Guess there wasn't any consistency there after all. What is it, Maya?
I'm still trying to figure this whole insight thing out. When the words change size, that means the intensity of those sensations is changing too, right?
That's what it looks like to me.
So then, that's probably something we should keep an eye on too. In short, we should be on the lookout for changes that shouldn't take place, but they do anyway. And changes that don't occur when they should.
Oh, very perceptive of you. I guess all that training sharpened Maya's mind along with her powers. Let's compare the vision to the insights while looking for changes in sensory intensity.
Sounds like a plan. Alright, okay. Changes in intensity. Well, there's no sensory intensity until we go all the way over here. Because there's wind remains. Things that are... let me see. Is it just that the footsteps, like, jump? Jump for a second there?
footsteps just kind of stay pretty exactly the same as approaching. So that's something? Maybe? Despite the incense becoming stronger as the figure approaches?
Objection!
The victim supposedly heard the accused's approaching footsteps. But did he really?
What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear?
No, it's not. Because there's something strange about those footsteps.
Strange. Explain yourself, barbed head.
The footsteps are strange because they don't get louder. They're not getting any louder.
And why exactly does that matter?
Please, focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of the incense grew stronger.
Well, why, that makes perfect sense.
How can this be explained, your benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason.
Objection!
It is as they say, even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean?
He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure.
Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyerly source. Your benevolence. Perhaps you must listen more carefully to the abbot's mitama. Listen more carefully. What's he talking about?
Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation.
Refine the sensation?
I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication. Deepening my communication with a mitama.
I didn't know you could do that. Why have we never done this before? By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered.
Oh, blessed mitama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call. Bells.
Footsteps change into bells. What could this mean? So he was the one moving. Bells, but the only bells at the scene of the crime were...
That jingling must have come from Abbot Ingmei's bells.
You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells from the high priest's own footsteps.
Then that means...
If the footsteps belong to the victim himself, it means that it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running toward the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence's insight would have us believe. Inner sanctum diagram updated in the court record. Okay. But why would the victim have approached the accused? Maybe he was trying to defend himself. Please, explain. He could have felt threatened by Lady Keira standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked.
Still your voices. This is nothing but a theory, a poor one at that. Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation.
Objection!
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence.
Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sadmahi?
Even if it was Abbot Inme who moved, it does not negate the accused's crime. What do you mean?
It means exactly that.
The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach.
Ah.
And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it?
Yes, it is the prosecution has said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well.
Right. That's why you were so shocked when you first heard it.
Understand now, lawyer. That contradiction you conjured has come to naught. You conjured up has come to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun.
Insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern.
Oh, and then it jumps. See, the fact that it was Abbot Inme who moved changes nothing.
Ugh. Come on, Phoenix, you gotta keep your cool. The contradiction I pointed out must mean something. But one sensation changed after Princess Raina, That one sensation changed after Princess Raifa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights.
Okay. See if anything's different. Right, you're standing over there, bowing to your lanterns. Wind, incense, bells, water.
Guessing it's by the broken lantern, but it contradicts with hearing the water.
Objection!
Even though it looks broken, we can see it blowing in the wind like that. The other one wasn't broken.
Hold it! How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be?
That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abbot Inme would have adhered to them.
Oh, that's strange. Mr. Wright, do you care to explain just what is so strange? Yes, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point.
What's this?
It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water. Oh. Yes, and the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction.
What contradiction?
I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring. Pokunga! That is absurd. This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates. Then, where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kaida's robes? Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. I mean, would have been like in the spring area.
Take that!
Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abbot Inmei and Miss Fei were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in this Wright's guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring, and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. Problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fei had actually been standing in the water. But if this is true, then the positions would have been completely reversed. And a sanctum diagram updated in the court record. Okay. What is going on here, Miss Fei? Are you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite.
A high priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite.
On Earth, is that even possible? Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights.
It doesn't.
Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what?
So what? This completely reverses their positions, is what?
That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime.
I guess you have a point there.
You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Sounds like Princess Rayfa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about.
Oh, Maya. Where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. It's the broken lantern. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere?
I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth.
Insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern.
Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Nick!
Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind. Yes, so it would seem. No, I have another thing to point out. Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you wreck that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here.
Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights.
That's right. We now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a new contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum's diagram in the court record. Confirm where Maya and Abbot Inme were standing. No, it's fine, I know the problem. And then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and the insights. It'll be more clear when the wind's blowing that it's like flickering like that. Yeah. Look at this.
Objection!
Your benevolence, I found a new contradiction.
You did. No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights.
Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. Might just change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering.
There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind had stirred.
No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue.
I fail to see your point.
My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place.
She seems pretty tickled, Nick.
I don't remember saying anything funny.
I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there.
It's just missing the guards. Weird. Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it.
And rightly so.
It has him in this picture, right? Okay, we can't see it from here. Oh. Is this any good? No. No, the rest of them.
For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the right of fire. Therefore, there's nothing odd about the flame flickering.
Saying what? But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Defense. We could not risk them being extinguished even during an investigation. That would never fly back home.
Well, barbed head, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Mitama.
Ugh. Nick. Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Right, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Keida's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving toward her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Let's see. Alright, now that we're looking at it, it's broken. They just showed it and it wasn't broken. Did he spin around while he was holding up the thing and also move all the way over there? Huh? Why? How and why? I don't know if this is the right testimony dialogue or whatever, but look at that lantern. That's not right.
Objection!
What can this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building. Are you all right, Mr. Wright? One minute you shout out, and in the next you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor said Mahi?
Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found.
Is that so?
The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight.
Does it now?
One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Albert Inne saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Keita, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in this seance vision.
How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights?
Let me start by saying the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far. Will the defense please explain himself? Based on the broken lantern, we can tell where the accused and the victim were standing. But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else? I did. I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. I must say that the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, assertions rather. Its credibility may come into question. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing. Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing. Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Looking over here-ish.
Take that!
I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. This means that Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom.
Does that not bring us back to the very beginning?
No. This is where things take a very different turn. Take a different turn. I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused.
What's this? Do you mean to say that the victim turned around during the rite? Such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision.
Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now.
No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big?
There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was, in fact, turning around in that moment.
Objection!
If it is as the defense asserts, then her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that?
Objection!
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sadmahi. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense, because they contain a huge error.
Such insolence!
A huge error, you say? To explain. The huge error is the number of people there. There just has to be a third person. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra, and suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Keira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed.
This cannot be.
Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead.
Kunga!
Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mitama yet again? This cannot be!
That was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the seance vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. Inner sanctum diagram updated in the court record. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer.
Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Are you sure about this? Prosecutor said Mahi. My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I've learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance. Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry. Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I'll show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh? Now then, let's continue with today's proceedings. For the defense, please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Keira was. Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct? Yes, of course. This third party must have really wanted to kill the High Priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent. Well, waiting, Mr. Wright. The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. Should be... here it is. Look at this.
That!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual. He did! Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. A rebel hunter disguised as Lady Keira herself. Peace. I don't understand. I'd heard that the Lady Keira that has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the High Priest? Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the High Priest had secretly been a rebel? The High Priest? He could possibly have been a rebel. The High Priest? A devout follower of Kodainism. A rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you? I, too, found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
Objection!
The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Keira, and the High Priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Kodainism, no. Of the kingdom of Kodain itself knows no bounds. Whoops. She was proclaiming he's making a mockery of our religion. And then, as a faithful Kodainist, I take issue with these claims. And I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings. I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy, tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya?
That Abbot Ime was a distinguished monk and very well respected too, so yeah.
Please don't let this turn into an international incident. But fear not, good people of Kodain. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he had his back turned toward Miss Fay? Someone else must have killed him.
Objection!
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is, as yet, still in my hands. How can you be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness. Very well, let's call this eyewitness to the stand. No one else was supposed to be up there. Did you look down from up on the prison walls or something? Hello, you're the weirdo. It's him again. Well now, he has to be the shaggiest witness I've ever laid eyes upon. Please state your name and occupation. So whatchamacallit. I don't remember. I gave him a very distinctive voice. That's so-and-so whatchamacallit. I'm on TBD. At least that's what they've been calling me. Anonymous. To be determined, I see. TBD isn't to be determined. Can't you just tell us your real name? The witness has suffered from a blow to the head, rendering him amnesiac. Therefore, I named him Anonymous TBD. In my report, he thinks TBD is part of his name.
Objection!
You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear, I've already questioned him at length. While it is true he's suddenly forgotten his name in the past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact. Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Remus, please tell us what you saw. Night of the murder. That night, I was up at the top of Mount Pony Pony, mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my binoculars to spy on the Wright at the inner sanctum. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger. There's no way you could have seen that. It's like way lower. They had those walls up. I think it was like 12 feet when I looked at it, something like that. There was a tree on it, but I don't think that's gonna help that much. There's no way you saw Miss Fay stab the victim with a dagger. They swear I don't know what he's talking about. Or don't remember, at any rate. On Pony Pony, the beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum. They must be talking about that smaller mountain from the poster.
Oh, not even 12 feet, 12 whole meters. And the tree isn't even on top of it. You can't see anything from there. You can see the mural, but you definitely can't see the proceedings.
Mr. Remus was wondering, what can I do you for? The inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fog can obscure the view. Are you sure you were able to see what happened from the mountain top next to it? The fog's not the problem. Good point. His Majesty raises an excellent question. Well, Mr. Amos?
On the day of the Wright, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. I had a perfect view. If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day.
Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, let's take a look. Weather forecast. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. The warmer temperature will make for excellent prayer weather. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front move in overnight. That does say calm, clear skies, doesn't it?
See, told you so.
May 9th newspaper updated in the court record. Sure.
It would appear the witness has offered testimony worth hearing.
Mr. Amos, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness?
Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot.
How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it underhanded, its blade protruding from the bottom of her hand?
Yep, I believe she was. It's called a reverse grip.
I thought as much.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. What bearing does that have on this case? Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do you not see the significance in how the blade was held? Why don't you enlighten me, O enlightened one?
Is that butterfly a different design than it had been in the other trial? I thought it had, like, no details. During the Chapter 2 trial. Episode 2, rather. Whatever.
I knew you were a fool. I can already picture you in your next life.
Next life?
Yes, after your soul rides for centuries in the pits of hell, you shall be reborn as a witless sea urchin with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life, only to be brutally devoured by a sea otter. That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with this case. Pay attention. How the accused held the dagger is of vital importance. With such information, we can infer exactly what action she took. You were saying that the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct?
Yes. You're saying she reached around and grabbed him. Which does still leave that other person unaccounted for, even despite all this. Which seems like it should at least be something to think about.
As such, the accused stagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arms around him, and plunged the dagger deep into his abdomen using a reverse grip.
What?
Thus, Mr. Amos's testimony clears up any doubts that might remain. And it concludes with her benevolence's insights, and it coincides with her benevolence's insights as well. This is a disaster. I thought I'd blown those insights out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me. Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination. At night, I was up at the top of Mount Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Amos? Was it really Mount Pony that you climbed?
Well, I'm sure of it. It was a really pony-ish mountain.
What does that even mean?
You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view. I ate crowd, so I climbed up there to pray in peace.
Hold it!
If you hate crowds, why bother climbing to the top? Couldn't you have just as easily prayed at the bottom of Mount Pony?
Wrong, bucko. It's a once-a-year epic event. I wanted to pray as close to the actual thing as possible.
If you're so gung-ho about it, why didn't you go pray at the Plaza of Devotion?
Like I said, I hate crowds. I wanted to pray in peace.
Oh, holy mother. Why do I only get the annoying ones?
My burning faith demanded I climb up the mountain closest to the inner sanctum. Also, I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around...
Hold it!
Since nobody was around, there's nobody who can corroborate your actions either.
Hey-ho! You're exactly right.
In that case, Mr. Amos, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen?
About that, if you get caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the ride, you can get in big trouble.
That's it.
Yeah, it's totally embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up.
Yeah, you're a real grown-up, alright.
And since nobody was around, I lost all inhibition, and I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
You had a pair of binoculars with you. That's pretty convenient. You weren't planning to spy on the right all along, were you?
Actually, I just happen to have them for bird watching.
Bird watching, huh? Let's see.
You're not going to keep pressing him on this?
It's sketchy as heck, but I don't really have anything I can sink my teeth into yet.
Oh, okay then. I love the great outdoors. That's just the kind of guy I am. A guy called Anonymous TV.
No words for that one.
He's really starting to get on my nerves. As I looked through my binoculars, I couldn't believe what was unfolding before me. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger.
Hold it!
Can you really see what you say you did?
You're saying I'm lying about this? Well, I'm not. It's etched permanently into this old noggin.
But I didn't do what you say I did. I didn't even get a chance to touch the dagger on the day of the rite.
What do I know of that? All I know is what I saw. I've never seen you before in my life. What possible reason could I have to lie?
I didn't expect there to be any witnesses way up there.
But I don't remember doing that at all.
I know. I have a feeling this witness is lying. There has to be an inconsistency somewhere in his testimony. Should take another look at the court record. No, I know. The mountain is too tall. That mountain is too short. You cannot see 12 meters plus that wall completely blocking your view. You can see exactly nothing. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, that shows the elevation. That should do it.
Objection!
Look at this. You're too short? No. Is it the wrong statement? Maybe the one before it, maybe. That statement is inconsistent with this piece of evidence. Let it go and move on. Abandon this folly. You know very well your evidence proves nothing. It proves something. It proves he can't see anything from that angle. Nice try, but you can't make me give up. I'm going to prove I'm right. You can point your finger as much as you want, but you're simply wasting your time. It's a pitiful sight to see a lawyer who doesn't know when he's beat. Rude. I just need to hang in there a little longer. It's very clearly the elevation. Just with this one, maybe. Let me just... No, you're too short. You can't see anything.
Objection!
What do you mean? What do you want then? It's not it. You are on Mount Pony Pony. And you can't see anything from there. Do I need to argue with the fact that you were on that mountain? Or are you going for like a different angle on this argument entirely? I'm not sure what other angle you could want on this argument. I have this. Do you want me to point out there was a curtain? You can see the curtain in that one, though. It's not labeled, but it's there. You're too short. What do you mean? What exactly... Let's see. I don't remember doing that. He's lying. There has to be an inconsistency somewhere. I should look at the court record. Well, the thing I thought was the problem is apparently not. Despite it being a fairly notable problem. Mystery, Canada. Thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum into the positive devotion until yesterday's melted. Wright can now go on as planned. He's asking about people who escaped. What a calm, clear skies. We'll see a cold front move in overnight. That's... that's not helpful. Can't even look at it. Oh, the curtain is its own thing here. Oops. You can see exactly nothing. Look at this curtain. So.
Objection!
What do you mean? Is it your binoculars you can't see anything? Because...
Objection!
Okay, so I've been trying to point this out the whole time. You just wanted a very specific thing. On the specific thing. And I've been on the right track the whole time. And you're like, no, this specific thing that shows you the curtain. Instead of also the fact that you were 12 meters below and definitely couldn't see anything. You would have had trouble without the curtain.
Your Majesty, I had my doubts about this bushy-bearded witness, but now I know we can't trust him.
What? You ain't just judging me based solely on my bodacious beard, are ya?
Not at all, Mr. Remus. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony.
His testimony, you say?
Yes. Recall how the inner sanctum was that day. Specifically, that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain.
Why, yes, I believe you're right.
The curtain would have completely blocked the witness's view from Mount Pony Pony. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have seen the murder happen.
Ha! Mr. Remus, have you been knowingly making false statements to this court? You got me.
The witness will lower his voice.
I didn't actually see the accused herself.
He didn't actually see the accused herself. What's that supposed to mean?
Let me set the record straight, I beg you.
Yeah, what are you going on about? You see, like, the shadows? I don't know that it was bright enough for that. The night of the murder amended.
I saw their shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on a clear and still night. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
That's, significantly less helpful. Shadows, that's what you saw?
That's right. I could see what was going on by the shadows projected onto the ritual curtain.
In the future, Mr. Remus, would rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start.
Forgive me, my main man, Mr. Magistrate. Chalk it up to my fuzzy memory.
Though he saw but shadows, it is still valuable testimony. You have to be kidding me.
Well, what are we going to do now, Nick?
All I can think of is to look for inconsistencies between the actual Wright and what Mr. Remus says he saw.
Well then, the defense may cross-examine the witness once more. Get some details, please.
Night of the murder amended.
Saw those shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain.
Hold it!
So what you saw were simply shadows?
That's right. Shadow figures on that bright white curtain. They showed through plain as day. I could see everything that happened.
Well, Miss Fay and Aunt Inmay were at the top of a mountain late at night. The only light up there was coming from 4 small lanterns. How could the shadows have been projected that clearly onto the curtain?
No wonder people harp on you lawyers. You're always so dang skeptical. The lanterns weren't the only sources of light, you know. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. Is it the full moon? I think maybe it was supposed to be.
Oh, clear skies.
Nothing about the moon. Maybe you're right with incense. No. Nothing's really saying specifically that I can see.
Hold it!
You claim to have seen shadowy figures that were projected onto the ritual curtain. But did you really see them, Mr. Remus?
Of course I did. The bright moonlight projected them onto that curtain, clear as day. Moonlight would have been hitting the curtain from the other side also. That's not really how moonlight works. We're projecting shadows. It's like watching a scene out of a horror movie from my front row seat at Mount Pony Pony. Oh no, whatever.
I guess the moon does shine a bit brighter when you're way up there. Maya, do you recall how bright the moon was that night?
I remember there weren't any clouds and that the moon was definitely out. But I don't remember if it could cast any shadows.
Okay, thanks. You can't deny that the moon was really bright, which means it's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear.
I remember just like it happened. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
Hold it!
How could you tell?
Hang on. How do you know it was Miss Faye if all you saw were shadows?
It was that little bun on top of her head. Didn't need to see her face. That distinctive bob's a dead giveaway. Never underestimate my keen sense of observation. Now that's one funny haircut. I don't think it's the cut, it's just how it's tied.
It's not nice to make fun of a girl's hairstyle. I like my hair this way. Besides, you're one to talk, you Sasquatch.
You're not into this wild, manly look I'm sporting. Shows what you know, little girl.
Nick, isn't there some kind of crime you can charge him with?
I'm afraid it doesn't work that way. Now he claims he only saw shadows. His testimony is sketchy, written all over it.
Then there must be an inconsistency in there somewhere.
Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions on the right.
Let's see. Conditions of the right. Way up there. Is there anything notable happening? What are the conditions? Read scripture. Wright's fire. Just doing stuff and things. That's about the rebel hunter. Thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum to the plaza of devotion until yesterday is melted. The right can now go on as planned. Escaped prisoner. Around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies. A warmer temperature will make for excellent fair weather. See a cold front move in overnight. The cold front bring clouds? Not necessarily. Plus, what's on it? This exists. That's something else though. The day of the rite, the water in the spring was already stained red. That's another thing. A bunch of other stuff. Curtain curtain is existing. Okay. That might be wrong. Figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. It's... The thing about the full moon is putting me off. No, it's supposed to be a full moon. I guess that's where we can see that that's... It should be. Do you want me to point out the cold front? What does a cold front entail beyond cold? It's worth a shot. I don't have a better idea. Right.
Objection!
Not that. Okay. What are we missing here? Just have to look for a contradiction. Only saw shadows. Sketchy. Must be an inconsistency. Is he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? So, I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the Wright. Conditions of the Wright. We had the curtain. We've accounted for the curtain. Day of the Wright, the water in the spring was already stained red. You could maybe see things projected from there. Shadows. Prisoner. Envelope. This guy is almost certainly that prisoner. But whatever. Not really the problem right now. That's not helpful. Our positions aren't really relevant to any statements here. To 3 a.m. To 3 a.m. Does that have an issue with anything? Not really. That's not it. What am I looking for? That doesn't seem very useful. Okay, focus. What do we need? We need to prove there's an inconsistency, because we don't think he could see anything. We need the height now? It's not unreasonable to have been able to use binoculars to see the curtain decently from that angle, though. What's in the weather and the activities? There was ice. it's not useful right now. Escape prisoner will be cold, but okay. Shovel in an area of snow. No.
Hold it!
Just check these over. We saw shadows. That's right. A mountain. How could you have seen that? Weren't the only sources of light.
Hold it!
Right, you're supposed to have the full moon. Claim to have seen shadowy figures, but did you really? Moonlight. Horror movie. Moon does shine a bit brighter when you're way up there. Remember how bright it was. Remember there weren't any clouds and that the moon was definitely out. I don't remember if it could cast any shadows. Hey, thanks. Can't deny that the moon was really bright, which means it's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear. Maybe it's about the top note? So that's all you're using to identify her by. You could have been mistaken. I don't really have anything else that shows anything like that. It's got something on it, but it's not like super useful. Working around the perimeter. Letter. It's not showing us any of the images in this. If it were to be meant to be used, I think it would be more visible somewhere. And still night. Nothing seems to argue that. It's hard to argue that the moon was bright. Do you want me to say that you're too short now? It doesn't seem right. I don't have a better idea.
Objection!
It's not that. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? How was the accused reverse gripping the dagger? And you say it's just because of the top knot. Is there any... But we don't have anything else that could say... Someone else match that description. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. going for some sort of shadow puppet? Put this real close up to a lantern and mess up your angles on things?
Objection!
Not that. What else is it? So it was the accused reverse gripping the dagger. Here. Their silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. Created by the light of the full moon. What am I looking for here? What am I doing? Moon should have been full. Curtains. I'll be honest, the shadow thing still doesn't make sense. You'd have to be at quite the angle for that to project properly. But whatever. I don't think we're arguing against that because that seems untenable. Alright, full moon. Moon was supposed to be full, I'm sure it probably was. This doesn't help anything. What am I missing here? What am I missing here? Use reverse gripping the dagger.
Hold it!
Hang on. How do you know? I need to see. I'm making fun of her hair. Mean to me, how dare. He claims he's only got shadows. They're sketchy. There must be an inconsistency in there. Is he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the rite. Mount Pony Pony. I mean, it's pretty far down there. What relates to that sort of thing? The conditions of the rite, the mountain itself. What is relevant here? Alright. Ice. The ice is melted. I don't know what that would have to do with anything. Someone escaped. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy clear, calm skies. Low temperature will make for excellent prayer. That's just about the base markings. That's illegible. That's not helpful. I'm guessing that's how the person got down. They climbed down from the prison up there. Let's see. That's still. Right. The water was red. Got a boring letter. Arrow. It's not helpful. It's not tall enough. Senior members of insurgent leadership and former paratrooper. Or for crimes. Envelope. Okay. Do their positions have problems? Not like particularly. What am I missing here? I tried presenting the newspaper to that statement and it didn't help. You're too short. I'm going to lose my mind. I think I'm going to mind. Well, the defense have something you would like to say. Fell on deaf ears. What am I missing here? What am I missing? What am I missing? Okay, focus. Was he really on Mount Pony Pony? Was the question. It's highlighted. Is he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the Wright. Saw the silhouettes. These were created by the light of the full moon. Was the accused reverse gripping the dagger? Already stained red. I must be missing something. Deep abdominal wound, inflicted by the warbad dagger used on the right. missing here? The dagger's missing. That's not helpful. I'm going to lose my mind.
Objection!
What's this? Something the matter. I don't know. What am I missing? It's going to drive me insane. What is it? Was he really on Mount Pony Pony? If so, what conditions don't line up? And still night. I feel like it has to be in this statement. It's too specific.
Objection!
I don't know what's wrong with it. Time of death?
Objection!
No. What am I missing here? What is it? What's wrong with it? That's not helpful. The entrance was shut during the rite. Do you know
Objection!
there's a curtain there? And you don't make any sense at all. I'm going to lose my mind. What is the problem here? It's not relevant. That was broken, but that's not, like, relevant. Springwater was already stained red when you arrived at the inner sanctum on the day of the rite. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything he's saying. All their silhouettes projected against the curtain.
Objection!
It's too short. It must be a different statement. What am I missing here? Saw their silhouettes projected against the curtain. General. Sure there's a curtain. What am I missing?
Objection!
It's so far down there. Many things are the matter. What is it? That's not... Okay. Oh, that's the wrong button. Tell it was projected against the ritual curtain. Shut. That's not overly helpful. These were all on the other side. They're not helpful.
read already, which isn't helping. Which is size overboard.
I don't think it's a statement.
Tell was the accused reverse gripping the dagger.
Could it be that we don't have the dagger? We haven't brought it up specifically. But you're also not being very specific. What am I missing? What am I missing? What is it? Tell it was the accused, reverse gripping the dagger. Is the angle of that even consistent? Whatever. Perform the right. I know what you were planning. Not very helpful. You're so down there. I'm going to lose my mind. What am I missing? What is the problem?
Objection!
Plan B. What if I shove everything at your face until something works because I'm very stuck? I'm losing my mind. I think I tried this.
Objection!
What is the problem? Why are we having a problem? It's definitely not that. That's also not helpful.
Objection!
I say shove everything, but like, not quite everything. Some things are very clearly unrelated.
Objection!
What is that noise? Sounds like someone hit the brakes too hard. Very squealing.
Objection!
Did you know the weather? What on earth is the problem? There was that hit thing that popped up at one point, but I don't want to lose all my health just to acquire. That's the wrong button. I tried that already. Oh yeah, we had this. It was at the Inner Sanctum. It's not overly helpful right now. It's not relevant to any of the statements.
Objection!
What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm very annoyed now. What am I missing here? What was he accused? Maybe it's not that. Created by the light of the full moon.
Objection!
Why? For what reason? What on earth are you talking about? Full moon, blah blah blah. Wright ceremony held when it was directly over the summit. I see. I did mention the angle at some point, but whatever.
You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight. Sorry, but that's just not possible.
What do you mean? How is it not possible that it was totally... How is it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible.
I think I'm going to need a logical ease translation on that. Let's take a look at this Wright's guide, shall we, Mr. Amos? The Wright is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony.
Oh, so it would have been projected in the other direction.
So if the moon was shining from the west, any shadows would have been cast eastward. But Mr. Amos was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pony Pony.
Oh, holy mother!
That's right. Our witness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain.
No. Oh, hey!
Perhaps it was the sacred flames of the lanterns that cast the shadows he saw? I'm afraid not. I inspected them during my investigation, but the flames were too small to cast the crisp, distinct figures Mr. Amos claims to have seen.
But I did see those silhouettes, really.
But how could he, Nick?
Maybe it was someplace where they were visible? Wait, don't tell me. Your Majesty, if Mr. Amos really did see those shadows, it brings a brand new fact to light.
And that would be...
A brand new fact that comes to light if Mr. Amos really did see those shadows is...
somewhere else. A different place. Somewhere to the east.
He wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder.
Oh, where do you propose the witness was?
Some place where he could have seen the shadow figures, naturally.
Wait, you mean...
No, the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. That leaves only one place he could have clearly seen the shadows from.
And where might that be?
This is where Mr. Amos was at the time of the murder. Mr. Amos was at the inner sanctum, just outside the curtain on the east side. That's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures.
Really? Wow, I didn't even think of that.
But wasn't the inner sanctum off limits to all but the victim and the accused?
And the third party who was there, you mean? I get the feeling that's a subject Prosecutor Submahi would rather not touch right now.
You mean...
That's right. This witness was at the scene of the crime. Which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the divination seance. He could be the one who dressed up as Lady Keita and killed the High Priest.
What the...
Objection!
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum. And the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza of Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness entered that sacred place? Oh, he must have, even thought that far ahead. sanctum has sheer cliffs on 3 sides and a steep, towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs. That His Majesty speaks true. Saying Mr. Amos was at such an inaccessible location is but a bid to tarnish his credibility. Is that not right?
Right, I wasn't at the inner sanctum. No sir, no how. At least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Hold it!
Then what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen?
I'm starting to think I've been imagining things.
What this is insane! I know we can trust that lawyer. He's trying to frame the witness.
I feel like that's not the problem here.
Peace, peace, I say. This is impossible. Unless I can show how he got to the inner sanctum, it just looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Amos.
We're going to slander him a lot more. Well, it's not slander if it's true, but I believe in you, Nick. Rah, rah, spoomba. Fight, fight, Phoenix Wright. Is that so?
Look at the accused. Has she no shame?
What's your problem, lady? Phoenix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know.
She's got some nerve for a criminal. That lawyer poisoned her mind. Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it to yourself for now. I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any sudden outbursts. Yes, Your Majesty. If I wasn't the bad guy before, I definitely am now. Now, Mr. Amos, I'd like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night.
This testimony. I wasn't at the inner sanctum. I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell ya. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get in there in the first place. Boy, you lawyers are scary. That's not a testimony. You need to provide an alternative.
I guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the inner sanctum like he claims, but... Now, will you desist in trying to frame this innocent witness?
Yeah, I'd like to see you explain how he got up there.
Or how he got down there.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these cross-examinations? No, he just gave a new testimony. I have to cross-examine that right now.
A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment a sinner spends struggling to deny their sins, 100 million years of torment are added to their time in hell. Judaism is the strictest religion ever. And just so you know, you've already accrued 200 million extra years.
It's the 5 they started with. 700 million, whatever. Sure, what's another 200 million, give or take?
Well, it's a big deal to me. I can't keep saying that the witness was there at the inner sanctum if I can't prove it. Problem is, how am I going to do that?
I wasn't at the inner sanctum. I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell ya.
Hold it!
Where were you?
Are you sure you weren't there?
All I'm sure of is that you're deeply skeptical. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, all lawyers always like this.
Most certainly. They always try to pin crimes on innocent witnesses without any proof whatsoever. They are no better than bacteria or viruses. Yikes, you mean he's contagious? He's gonna give me lawyeritis. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Ooh, that was a close one. He almost put me there at the scene of the crime when I wasn't even there.
Making a mess.
Not that much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory.
Hold it!
You just said your memory was fuzzy.
I sure did. What's the big deal?
I'll tell you what. Your testimony isn't very credible if your memory of the events is fuzzy.
Oh, no worries there. My memory may be fuzzy, but I'm very clear on one thing.
There we go again.
You asked me whether or not I remember what I did that night, I'd say I do.
In short, you are confident that your testimony is true. Is that correct, Mr. Remus?
Exactly. Guess you don't get to be a judge for nothing. So in closing, I can clearly say that I was totally not there. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Hold it!
I wonder if it really was impossible for you to get to the inner sanctum. If you have something to say, just say it. Couldn't there have been another way to get there? A way that wouldn't attract attention?
No, there isn't.
Which means there is. Perhaps the defense would share its theory with us. I don't even have a wild guess, let alone a theory, though. I do. Time to reach into my bag of bluffs. To reach the inner sanctum without attracting any attention, fell from the sky. Enjoy. Maybe you fell from the sky.
The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now.
I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Remus could have, parachuted down. We already know the weather was clear and there was no wind to speak of. Perfect weather for skydiving, I'd say.
Oh, wait, what I meant.
Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusions grow even more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. How did you build that thing up there? How would you get the materials up? One misstep, a skydiver would soon find themselves in the Twilight Realm.
Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was. Even I couldn't have made that jump.
Wait, what's this building on the top of the Sacred Mountain? That is the Royal Penitentiary number 4. Oh, right. Princess Wright mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyway? By helicopter, but only with authorization from the Minister of Justice. He's the only one who can approve flights that pass over in the inner sanctum. Mountain range poster updated in the court record. Okay. Might I also add defense? No parachute or any other equipment necessary for skydiving have been found.
Are you saying I flew down there by flapping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not capable of that.
Well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Remus.
It's not like I can fly through the air either. Hold it!
You wouldn't need to flap your arms if you had some gear. As I have already stated, nothing of the sort was found in or around the scene of the crime.
sure like to see some of that so-called gear you're talking about.
I know, but was there really nothing like that at the Inner Sanctum? What if there was something that could have been used as a parachute? I should give the evidence another look. You continue to claim that the witness was at the Inner Sanctum. Yet said claim shall remain but a claim without any supporting evidence, Mr. Wright. Yes, I realize that, Your Majesty. I can't find any inconsistencies. I guess I can always try to elicit some more testimony.
Boy, you lawyers sure are scary.
Hold it!
Hold on, lawyers aren't scary.
You're saying I was the Inner Sanctum when I wasn't. Anyone who tried to frame an innocent man like that is scary in my book.
Lawyers are scary. Lawyers are scary. It's a setup. It's definitely a setup. Alright. I'm not trying to set anyone up. I'm going to provide evidence and explain exactly how it was done. Gallery speaks true. They know the depths of a lawyer's sin and the poverty of his virtue. There may be some bad apples, but we're not all like that, you know.
Don't worry, Nick. I'll still work for you, no matter how morally bankrupt you become.
Thanks a bunch, Maya. Mr. Amos wasn't at the Inner Sanctum, or more precisely couldn't get there.
I don't see a way out of this.
Yeah, these kinds of debates only get worse if you argue them the wrong way. You have to pry some conclusive testimony out of it, and then present some evidence.
Like when you were trying to catch frogs in a pond. Once you got a grip on one, you'd better hold on tight. Oh, it's over here. Cat food. Once I finish this testimony, I'll feed them.
Right, something like that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Objection!
Mr. Amos is right. He couldn't have skydived down there without any gear.
Well, now, finally come around, have you? Now you see that I couldn't have possibly been there at the Inner Sanctum.
Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is.
What on earth are you talking about?
That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm on the right track. Take a look at this piece of evidence.
Those are prayer flags, are they not?
Yes, but they have been sewn together. Create one big banner. A banner that could also function like a parachute.
Really bad parachute.
What are those things even made of?
Not anything that would function well, but whatever.
Look. People of Kadain are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be. The witness landed at the Inner Sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Amos?
There's no way out. I'm surrounded.
Mr. Amos.
All this talk struck my memory. I guess I was there at the Inner Sanctum after all.
As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night.
You did it, Nick. You weren't wrong after all.
Thanks. Mr. Amos, you were the one disguised as Lady Kate on that night, weren't you?
wait, oh, how? It's like this, oh, yeah. I was only there at the inner sanctum by accident.
By accident.
Exactly. That thing's on a parachute, it's a homemade paraglider.
A paraglider. You're telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material?
May not look like much, but it's as sturdy as can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the inner sanctum.
So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that?
Now, please calm yourself, Mr. Wright.
However, the fact that the witness was at the inner sanctum is crucial testimony indeed. And it certainly warrants further explication. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony.
Okay. But before you carry on with your testimony, I must go feed the cats. So I will get up, I will go and do that, and then I will get back to this. Refill my water as well. tell you have to let me set it down. There you are. Okay. Cats have been fed. Refilled my water. Yeah. All is well. Let's get into this testimony then. Why I was at the inner sanctum. That evening, I was enjoying a trip through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident.
Mr. Amos, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning.
Can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now.
Continue such slipshod testimony, and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years.
I think I'll pass on that.
Looks like that caught Prosecutor set Mahi off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds.
Alright. I need some more details on that accident for certain. What do you say would have caused something like that? It's Sky, oh my god.
Hold it!
You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider. You didn't go to pray?
Not devout Kodaitis like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. But I wouldn't recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead.
Paraglider? I didn't see anything like that.
That's because of the ritual curtain. It blocked your view. You should have seen me majestically soaring between the mountains.
Really? What do you think, Nick?
Don't ask me.
I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened.
Hold it!
Something terrible happened.
Exactly, and when I say terrible, I mean terrible.
What? Was there something unexpected near Mount Pony?
What was it again?
Wait, you don't remember?
Just say it was terrible. That accident forced me to make an emergency landing at Theater Sanctum.
Hold it!
What exactly was this accident you had?
Good question. Now, what was it again? Wind? Oh, yeah, it was the wind. Not just any wind, but a sudden gale-force wind made me lose control.
The wind was strong enough to make you lose control.
You got that right.
Okay then, please add that to your testimony.
Gale-force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum.
Hold it!
Had the wind been blowing the whole time around the mountains?
Yep, just the right amount of wind for paragliding. So that sudden gale-force wind was a real shocker.
I see. So a decent wind had been blowing until then.
Right. The paraglider's not much use without a decent wind. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory.
Hold it!
Where at the inner sanctum did you land?
That's easy, where the paraglider ended up.
I guess that makes sense. So, outside the ritual curtain, on the side where the moon when the moonlight shadows were cast.
What are you doing?
But right as I landed, I hit my head on a rock. I suppose my memory and I suppose my consciousness and my memory.
Something's seriously wrong with this guy.
So you see, I entered the inner sanctum purely by accident.
Hold it!
You're lucky to be alive after an accident like that.
Yeah, I'm just a lucky kind of guy. It's times like these that separate the men from the boys.
Oh, I'd say you were incredibly lucky. Almost miraculously so.
If you got something to say, just say it.
Alright, Mr. Remus. It wasn't an accident, was it? You landed at the inner sanctum on purpose.
What the? No, it was an accident, I'm telling you. You don't even have any proof, so stop making things up about me.
His testimony's like a moving target.
Okay, Nick. Time for some evidence. You know, really grab him by the scruff of his neck.
One thing at a time, Maya. First, I have to find an inconsistency. But where there's constantly changing testimony, there are bound to be discrepancies and other issues. Your wind, I believe it should be the newspaper or the weather report. It should be nice and chill and fine and good.
Objection!
We have a saying in my country, Mr. Remus. From one lie sprouts another.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks.
What did you just say?
You claimed gale force winds caused you to lose control. But this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today.
Oh, God.
I do believe it does say that.
One lie sprouts another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I kind of made that one up.
Real?
Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause.
More fatal, you say?
The defense will explain himself at once. Mr. Amos claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider, but it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind.
Why, yes, I believe you're right. We know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so...
Mr. Remus, how did you get there? And from where? Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Amos must have launched himself from here. Up there.
Take that!
Ah! Are you insane?
That's where he came from. If he couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see, Alnholm Amos came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. I can speak. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest.
What?
Mr. Amos, were you the third party at the inner sanctum?
Yeah. My throat terrible.
and the one behind the warning to halt the Wright that the victim received. Was it you we saw in his final memory? Or you, the rebel hunter, Lady Keira?
Doesn't make sense for him to have delivered the letter. Not if the other stuff I'm thinking is accurate.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out here.
You did it! You finally left him speechless.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man.
Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum for Royal Penitentiary number 4. Well, he didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him.
Oh, this guy's kind of a problem who needs dealt with. Separate from this case, or I guess related to this case, but also separate, if he wasn't related. Anyway.
But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anon Emus's true identity. Oh, his true identity. Not sure I know quite yet. I guess I'll have to answer with something.
Oh, I figured it out a bit ago.
It would seem I'm the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anon Emus? The witness's true identity is... Is this really him? Only now do you realize the truth.
Well, maybe Phoenix, but...
Well, please do share with us your belated insight.
What's wrong, Nick? Why are you holding back?
Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case.
Really? Are you sure?
Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. Nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison. The precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Dats Arbol, a prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
What? God!
The witness is an escaped prisoner.
Precisely. Police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was under our noses the entire time.
Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise.
But the witness's charade is not all that's been shattered. Is it, defense? Boy, do I hate this guy. Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. And the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. A rebel hunter disguised as Lady Keira herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Keira.
Yeah, and what's your point?
What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. That happened 2 minutes ago. This witness is Dots Arbol, prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
Oh, no.
He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Keira, mortal enemy of the He could not possibly have been Lady Keira, mortal enemy of the rebels.
No.
Now, perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.
You got me. I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the defiant dragons. That's our ball.
When did you get your memory back?
Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making all that testimony up off the top of my head.
Are you prepared to tell us the truth now?
Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie.
A big fat lie?
Oh, and by the way, long time no see, UT.
Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty. This filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell.
Oh, yes, of course.
Bailiff, seize him at once.
Seems you really have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, UT? But I haven't. No dogs of the Godon regime are gonna lay a finger on me.
Jean.
Did it well. You but
Okay, bye.
not my problem.
Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert.
Anyway, that still leaves someone up there dressed as Lady Keira, who we've established definitely existed separate from Maya. We still haven't dealt with that. The escaped prisoner escaped again.
Police force has been placed on high alert. You will be caught before long.
An escaped prisoner who's escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony. Talk about a troublemaker.
He really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all of that anyway?
Well, I can't help but feel that entire episode was an enormous waste of time.
Your Majesty, perhaps it was not as great a waste as you might believe.
What makes you say that, Prosecutor Sadmahi?
But Arbol dropped something as he made his escape from these halls.
Audible? Oh, it probably is, because the joke is that's a rebel, I see. I guess it's audible then.
That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar.
Oh yeah. Why is it? It kind of looks like that.
These appear to be direct orders from Dirk.
From Dirk, the rebel leader. Oh, but we only have a small corner of it.
why would he have that if he'd been in prison and then was wandering around with no memory? That doesn't make sense. Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before.
You have?
The scrap of paper Dot's audible dropped is a part of this.
Right? Yeah, I don't have anything else. It's this.
Take that!
And this is... I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Audible dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says.
Oh my, and just what does it say, Mr. Wright? I don't know, I can't read that.
I can't read Chinese.
Prosecutor Sadmahi, if you please.
The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well, then. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kato's robes and make his escape.
What? That is how he was to escape from prison.
So, if I were to assume that Mr. Audible was the one who killed the High Priest, and maybe it was because Abbot Inmate tried to thwart his escape plan? Oh, foul lawyer. I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous.
Oh, but I didn't say anything. Did he just read my mind?
I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebels' escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that Dot's Audible is not the High Priest's killer.
How can you be so sure?
If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. Dot's Audible's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual.
What do you mean?
I'm speaking about Inmate, of course. And Dot's Audible simply donned Lady Kata's robes and made his escape alone. He would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priest's side, faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. It is, therefore, unthinkable that Dot's Audible was the High Priest's killer.
So then you're saying the High Priest was oh, I cannot bear to say it.
I'm afraid it is so. Numbered among the rebels who threatened our kingdom.
How could this be? A High Priest? A rebel? There must be some kind of mistake.
Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, Defense. Cease your futile battle now.
Why should I?
Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated Dot's Audible from our list of suspects, there's only one person that still remains, the accused Maya Fey.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. Aren't you forgetting something important? Something important? Please do explain, Defense.
We can't end this trial without looking into...
We still haven't... If he fell and knocked his head... Ended up over there, fell and knocked his head, passed out on the ground. Sucks to be him. There's still someone else that we haven't really dealt with.
I'm talking about the true identity of the Lady Keira we saw in the seance vision. If that wasn't Dot's eyeball, then who was it?
Objection!
That matter has already been resolved. It has... What is he talking about? It is as I have maintained from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision.
Objection!
But there was another Lady Keira in there besides Maya Fey. We all saw her.
Sakura!
What the? I can't do my finger point.
Satura ima o mando mo samashi de tashi no ketare kase yo soro ka!
Stop doing that.
Ow! It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. It's quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would we see ahead? Besides the water itself, there's nothing but the warband statue. Besides the water itself, there's nothing but the warband statue. Precisely. The Lady Keira we saw in the seance is the warband statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! The accused wanted the false Lady Keira to appear in the seance vision. It doesn't make sense. Before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with a dagger in a reversed grip.
The dagger was... We saw the thing holding the dagger. I mean, this thing is covered in blood, which is odd. Actually,
But why would the accused want to do something like create a false Lady Keira? Show it to the victim as he was being slain.
And what reason would the accused have to fool the victim she was about to kill?
It was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself. Come again? Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Keira was there. The defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise.
Are you saying?
I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. This can't be happening. What a face you are making, Defense. I'm surprised you are taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after naught but a deluded fantasy? Something's occurred to me. Let me see. Your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. You're telling me you knew that this salad would turn out all the way back then? And that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me? Do you understand now? I have had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time. It can't be. This is an outrage. You took our royal priestess's sacred divination seance and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder.
No, I did nothing of the sort. Nick, it's not true. I didn't.
Objection!
Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint this sacred hall. Indeed, since his trial is over.
Hold it!
Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter-argument or something?
The accused is not the killer. And, here's why.
Now what I do, I've got nothing. It would appear that the defense has run out of arguments to make. I thought for sure that the rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Keita, has vanished. I got nothing to use against Prosecutor Sadmahi's argument. Damn it! I can't lose now, not like this! Very well then, I shall now render my verdict.
Wait! Please, wait, I'm begging you!
It is time to let it go and move on. The trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court finds the accused, Maya Fey, and the defense, Phoenix Wright, guilty.
Ah!
Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but... What is the meaning of this? A body has been found in the Plaza of Devotion, Your Majesty. What's this? A body? What happened now? And we found this sticking out of the victim. Knife. Why, that's Lady Keita's warband dagger. Lady Keita, she's returned to the Twilight Realm once more. She's come to defeat the rebels. Whose corpse? Was it that guy who was pointed out early on, who was just kind of there, weirdly, for no reason? Peace! Well, it seems that the dagger that was once lost has now been found. I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Sadmahi. Yes. This dagger. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it.
What? But...
why would Maya's prints be on it? She, like, passed out or something. Someone trying to frame her could have just, like, stuck her hand on it. I cannot believe it, but it must be true. Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmahi? This trial has run its course, and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. However, it seemed the defense was right about one thing. I I was. You claim that the murder at the inner sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Keira. I did say something to that effect, but what of it? Prosecutor Sadmahi, are you suggesting what I think you are? I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Keira is none other than the accused, Miss Maya Fey.
What? Me? What?
I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize that there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel hunting Lady Keira was first sighted about 2 years ago. And the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well.
Why, the timing matches perfectly.
There is more. A warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite. Despite his house being locked up tight that night.
Objection!
How does that prove anything?
Objection!
It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there, mainly to prepare for the purification rite.
I thought Ine was a very important figure with a ton of duties, including training acolytes. He was really kind, even to a foreigner like me. He even invited me over to his house whenever I was between training sessions.
The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing.
No!
Lady Keira's warning updated in the court record. Only someone capable of entering the priest's home could have delivered it. If we assume that the accused was the Lady Keira, that more establishes her motive for killing the High Priest. That more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest.
Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent bent on helping Das Audible. Bent on helping Das Audible escape, after all.
Precisely. That made him a target of Lady Keira's wrath. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. So, it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey, masquerading as Lady Keira.
If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe the second murder must be investigated before we can proceed.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with the second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict.
Seems the defense will live to see one more day.
Talk about hanging on by a thread. Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you.
I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned. Oof. Well, we're cutting off right there. We're not gonna get into who precisely it was. I'm sure it was that person who got pointed out in the
brighter color robes. Because why else would you point one specific person out? But oh well. That can be dealt with next time. Since today is Monday, that means I'll be back on Friday. Because Wednesday is Pokemon. Right. So, that should be all for today. Wednesday, I'll play some Pokemon Soul Stones. And then Friday, we'll get back to Ace Attorney. We'll see who this person is who died, get some information. Hopefully that should at least give her an alibi for that particular murder and maybe work something off from there. New suspect, see if we can tie them into the other case. You know. I believe that's all, though. Yes, I'll return on Wednesday for Pokemon Soul Stones. But that's all. Have a nice day. Goodbye.